جامعه بسند حسن صحيح عن سهل بن سعد الساعدي رضي الله تعالى عنه وارضاه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لو كانت الدنيا تعدل عند الله جناح بعوضة ما سقى كافرا منها شربة ماء. Brothers and sisters, today's hadith is narrated in the collections of the Imam al-Tirmidhi with a reasonable chain of narration. And it's one of those hadith that are very powerful, and I call them perspective hadith. They put everything in perspective. And every now and then the Prophet ﷺ will give you a hadith that does that to you, that puts everything in its right place. So I'll translate the hadith, inshallah, for those who don't understand Arabic. The Prophet ﷺ is saying that this creation, everything that you see, the dunya, this life, if it doesn't even, it's not even worth in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a single wing of a mosquito, of this little mosquito, the little wing that I can't even see it, and probably you have to see it with a microscope. It's not even worth that, because if it was the value of it, if it was that, like as insignificant, as trivial as a wing of a mosquito, then he wouldn't have given a sip of water to someone who doesn't believe in him. ما سقى كافرا شربة ماء شربة من ماء. This is a very powerful hadith because there's a photo. For those who know, there's a photo called the pale blue dot, or the blue pale dot, something like that. It's a picture that was taken by a probe that was sent. A group of scientists put together an unmanned probe, and it was sent in the 70s in space. And at some point, after a few years of traveling, it turned around and took a photo of Earth. And it looked like a dot, a pale blue dot, actually, floating in nothingness, in a dark black background. And then this was very powerful. This was only taken, the photo was taken in 1990. It was very powerful. The scientist who saw this photo wrote like a reflection on it. He said, this pale blue dot is basically, and this, he's not talking about everything, he's just talking about this planet we live on. He said, this rock is where everyone you loved, everyone you hated, everyone you helped, and everyone you didn't want to help, every conflict, every religion, every single war, every person who lived and ever died, and ever lived and ever died, everything from the creation to this present is on that little dot. And this was only a few years ago. Every time I read this hadith, I remember this photo. They had to take it. The Prophet ﷺ told us even more powerful phrase than that. He said, not only this dot is worthless, but in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the whole creation. It's a very powerful hadith because every now and then we need to step back and look at the true value of things in the eyes of Allah. And you and I will realize that the minute we die and get resurrected. We'll realize how trivial this life is. We don't feel it right now because that's all we know. And it's very beautiful. Life is beautiful for those who enjoy it. But when you die and you're on the other side, you'll realize this hadith, oh yeah, 100%. So this begs two questions. How significant is one's personal problems? And how significant is your little conflict you have with your brother? How significant? And on one side of the scale with this hadith on the other side. So this is a question I'd like to leave you with. And a second question, I will end with this, I don't want to take too much of time. How significant or insignificant your personal goals in this life? What one would be remembered if they died today, for instance? And knowing that all this is actually very, very insignificant in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I hope this was of benefit. يروي الإمام الترمذي في جامعه بسند حسن عن سهل بن سعد الساعدي رضي الله تعالى عنه وارضاه قال لو كانت الدنيا تعدل عند الله جناح بعوضة ما سقى كافرا منها شربة ماء. صلى الله على حبيبنا وسيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. 2 minutes for sunnah inshallah, and after that we have